While we will always remember Aretha Franklin as the Queen of Soul, legendary Motown musician that's Smokey Robinson will remember her as his oldest friend. Baby. Robinson and Franklin performed together several times throughout the decade, but they met long before. They were stars growing up in the same neighborhood in Detroit. Smokey Robinson joins us now from Glendale, California. Smokey Robinson, it is good to see you.
Gayle, my love, it's good to see you too. How you doing?
I'm all right. Well, of course, we're all thinking about Aretha, but that was some neighborhood you guys grew up in. You had Diana Ross, the Supremes, the Temptations, the Four Tops. Berry Gordy was there. How did you two become friends, and what was it like to see her become, your childhood friend, become the Queen of Soul?
Well, we became friends because she and her family moved to Detroit when I was 8 years old, really. And you know how kids are. Her brother Cecil, who was my lifelong ace boon coon till he passed, you know, came around to just play with the guys in the neighborhood. And we went around to see his new house. And in Detroit, we lived in the hood, okay? But in the middle of that were these two plush blocks where they had mansions and all that, right in the middle. It was an amazing place. And so they lived on one of those blocks because Reverend C.L. Franklin was, of course, one of the biggest ministers in the country. And so we went around to see their new house, which was a mansion. And we're walking through the house to see, and I hear this little voice and a piano playing somewhere in this room, and this voice coming, and I peek in, and there's Aretha sitting at the piano playing and singing almost like she did as an adult. Yeah. And she was probably only about 5 years old, but that's how I first met her.
Yeah. And what was it like performing with her side by side, Smokey? You guys did that many times.
Well, you know, it was always wonderful to do anything with Aretha. Aretha was, like I said, my ace. You know, she was my baby, and so we were really, really close. And to do anything with her was always a joy.
Smokey, can you talk a little bit about the cultural moment that both you and she embodied in America at a time where African Americans were, where it was a very tough part of American history? She was a cultural icon and was at the center of a cultural change.
Well, yeah, I would say that we all grew up in that era. We grew up in the Rosa Parks era, I call it, because she was the start of it all. And we marched with Dr. Martin Luther King and Reverend Ralph Abernathy. We did the sit-ins. We did all the stuff that was required of us at that time. We turned the other cheek, which was really, really, really hard to do sometimes under the circumstances. But that's what we had to do because that was the plan. And it was a master plan, and as you can see, it worked pretty well.
And Smokey, we know there obviously was only one Aretha. She is in a league of her own and can't be replaced. But who are some of the younger generation singers that she really respected and thought had a future as leaders in the music industry?
Well, Aretha was like me, Gayle. Aretha loved music, and she loved new artists. And when I see people talking about today, well, you know, the music business is in trouble because all the new artists are this or they're that, you know, there are some wonderful new artists out there. Show business has a great future according to what's happening out there with new artists, and Aretha appreciated that. And I don't know who she specifically would have said, oh, this is my favorite new artist, but she appreciated the fact that there were new artists out there. You know, her granddaughter is a great singer, my granddaughter, you know, so it's, you know, it just goes on and on.
Well, you know, we've certainly lost a legend. What do you think that the music world has lost with the death of Aretha Franklin in terms of what she meant to us musically?
Just her presence, you know, because I talked to Aretha about maybe 5 weeks ago or so, and her plan was she was going to retire from doing performances, but she was always going to record. She said, Smoke, I'm just not going to do any more dates, but I'm going to continue to record. But she has left us with a musical legacy that kids who haven't even been born yet will get a chance to experience.
That is so true. Now I hear her music differently, Smokey, knowing that we can't hear it live again. I hear different things that I hadn't heard before listening to her voice.
Yeah, and seeing the two of you together is pure magic, Smokey. I'm sure a lot of viewers are out there Googling your granddaughter and hers as well right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.